Celeb Savant, Barry Diedelstein. We're at Ramberg, Solid Gold Podcast. And in the interview seat with me today, we've got Money Badoo.
Hey.
I had to add a little dance to that
Hello.
because the name lends itself to that.
Exactly. A little sprinkle.
How are you doing?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm all great, all grand.
Awesome.
Let's dive straight in. Where was the name Money Badoo chosen for your stage name?
It's a street name, first
Okay.
and foremost. It's a name my friends gave me before I ever made a song. And they were just like, you always dress like Money. And so it was more like a funny nickname before it became the rest of my life. And Badoo I added when I started making music. And one of my friends from Nigeria was always like, "You're so Badoo. This is so Badoo," which is like you bad or like the
Yes.
And I love the way it sounded, and I love the fact that I guess people saw something in me I didn't see yet at the time, and it became such a big aspect of my life. So yeah, really, it's a name given to me.
So you mentioned that people saw something in you that you didn't realize about yourself. How long did it take for you to have that realization?
I only started making music at like 20 years old, so I really had plans for my life that was not in the music world at all. So I guess it took also I had an accident, to be honest, and I couldn't walk for about a year and a half.
Oh, great.
And I was 18 at the time, so when everyone was going to college, I was kind of bedridden. And that kind of gave me perspective on life and the rest of my life, and I kind of made a decision that I would go after every single thing I've ever wanted to do, even the scariest parts, which was always kind of music. Yeah, I had a little guitar when I was 12 and always sang, always played around with music, but never really saw myself at the forefront of it. Always thought that I'm more of a BTS girl. So I guess, yeah, after something traumatic happens to you, naturally you're like more inclined to do things you're afraid of because nothing's scary anymore, right? When you go through the worst thing. So yeah, I guess shortly after.
So pre to the accident, what was the plan for the life?
Fashion, law, fashion maybe like still felt a bit far, but at the time I was always doing fashion, always making clothes, even in high school. So it was either going into law school or doing something in fashion. But I still kind of had this belief that going into the creative world was gonna be a plan B type of thing and not a plan A. Um, but then I made a decision that I'm not going to live under society's terms. And kind of make a path for myself. Because I am from a predominantly colored community called Annandale in the deep south of Johannesburg. And you're constantly made aware of the fact that your circumstances are most of the time what build the rest of your life. But for me, I decided that that wasn't going to be the truth, and that I wanted a life different, and that didn't know if I'd be broke forever or homeless going into the creative, but I knew it's what I really love to do and spend my time. But that also took working funny jobs like teaching and a secretary and just like trying to make money. And the more I was trying to live by this like adult standard of life, have the job, be stable, the more I realized how unhappy I was and how it was not meant for me. And so I decided to take the scary route that no one in my family really also took. And yeah, that's really it.
Do you potentially think or perceive, and I have this perception coming from my experience and background, that going into the creative world is scary? It's not necessarily, you won't be successful, all these labels, whereas being a lawyer, being a doctor, being an accountant. Okay, you're going to have that job. You're going to have that monthly salary. It'll be secure.
Yes.
It's a societal thing. It's a societal description that is brought down to make people scared to dive into their passions, potentially.
100%. It's a way to keep your mind small, keep you small in many ways. But also it comes with capitalism, and if you're not from money or from stability, you almost have no choice. Because I think that's the ultimate thing, is that the circumstance leads up to choices, and most of the time, if you are able to make a solid living that's long investment and you're solid for life out of creativity, great. But most people don't even have that option. The only option most of the time, even for me at the time, was to go work, to have money, to eat, and to just survive. And that's often the saddest case about our country, is how many, I guess, opportunities we lack, especially if you come from a community that's, in poverty, was, previously segregated by apartheid.
Yes.
So, if there were more opportunities, like if I was in school and because I was went to a public school in Annandale, if there were more opportunities for me to actually see a creative job and a creative world outside of what I was exposed to, I think I would have had so much more confidence going into it. But unfortunately, you're not. You're shown that. You're shown you can get easy, you can go to nursing school, you can be a teacher, those are almost literally your only options. So it's unfortunate, but I do think that the future, and what I would love to contribute to our society as South Africans, is making sure that the kids that are in school right now have way more opportunities to go into art, and music and poetry, writers. I think I can only imagine how many beautiful stories and creatives there are from places who never had the chance to, who just fell into a job because that was the easiest way of survival.
Yeah. I also think now it's less these days than it was years ago, because of the simple fact that so many people need to hustle to make more. So they've created more labels. There used to be this thing of, let's speak of Jane. Jane is a secretary, and that's who she is. That's a box, that's a category. That's where she needs to be from when she finishes school through to when she retires. And that's why I believe when so many people retire, they go lose the plot, because they've been in this label for 30, 40 years. Now, who am I?
Exactly.
Who is Jane now that she doesn't have that label? But now, because of so many people having to hustle, it's a situation of, we can have more labels. So for the picture I like to create is that of the octopus. So the body of the octopus is Jane or me.
Yeah.
And you can have as many tentacles as you want. You can have one tentacle, you can have 500 tentacles.
Yes.
So because of financial and socio-economic situations lately, people have had to create more tentacles in order. 100%. But it's come out of a need of survival more than an idea of like, I can be as many things.
Exactly.
But then that realization comes through.
Yeah. Jane the octopus. Jane the secretary is now Jane the influencer.
Jane the baker.
Jane the mukbanger.
So, but it should always be a thing of not, I've been put into this box. It should be a thing of, I've got so many passions, and it's okay to have so many passions.
100%, yeah. I guess that's kind of the route that I chose and have taken. I really love fashion, and I really love being a creative as a whole. I love to write songs. I love to be in studio. I love to take pictures of other people. I love to build worlds, not just for myself, but for other people. And I think that's the ultimate thing that I see myself doing for the rest of my life, is just immersing myself. I'm creating worlds from scratch that I've never ever seen, never been immersed in. I think that's really something I found powerful as a creator that we're able to do, But you're right, even at the place that I am right now, and I look back at the person who was teaching and working at the club and doing all of those things to build a music career, Now I don't even see myself as someone chasing this dream. It's like, oh, self-employed entrepreneurship. This is not like, it's fully a job. It's not even 9 to 5 anymore. It's 24/7, and you're constantly thinking of other ways to add on to your life. Unfortunately, we're in a global recession. So it's fun to make art, but it's definitely even more better to make money. And I kind of talk about that a lot in my music. I'm always manifesting. I do believe we are way more powerful than we believe. And we're often like in this cage that society puts us in, and we put ourselves in. But all we know is almost like this cage, All I knew was that I needed to work a job because that's what people did when they were stable around me, when they seemed happy. And now when I talk about it in my music, I'm constantly, even in my shows, the first thing that I say is that I would like to welcome everybody to quantum leap with me into the reality where all our wildest dreams are true, where that job is ours, that check is in our account, and that's the beginning of my set and the end. And I always hope that people leave my set feeling like their energy, their light, their aura is way higher. They feel less stressed because when you feed into negative energies and feelings, and it's not on some chakra thing, it's an actual thing about us as human beings. And now because of the internet, we're even more exposed to this kind of knowledge, so it doesn't even feel as medicinal and far out anymore. We're conscious of the fact that we have energies and we feel things, and they're not just emotions, but they're a part of us. And I always hope that people can leave going into a better version of themselves, because our thoughts do create our realities. And I created this reality. I was not a musician. I didn't study anything. Everything I've done is self-taught, and it was almost done most of the time intuitively. And if that's not a fucking superpower, then I don't know what is.
The longest tentacle on the octopus. Growing all the rest of them.
Octopi.
I like that. Octopies. Okay, so my definition of the law of attraction, what you're referencing now, is what I focus on, what I think about, what I joke about, what I talk about, what I put in energy into is what I create. So it's about conscious communication, all those energy things. And I have observed, may not have been with judgment, could have been, I've observed many people who choose not to own that power because it's easier to blame the world, the government, the sister, the brother, the auntie, the circumstances, than to say, okay, well, I own this, I can create it, and I have created it. Let's step out of that. So if anyone who's at the moment struggling with that thought, what advice would you give them?
I guess we're all struggling, but you only have the time that you have to be present in this body, in this life, in this time. And don't waste it. Don't waste doing what you don't love. Don't waste it spending on time with people who make you feel less than. Don't waste it in your own mind, constantly convincing yourself that you're not worthy, because we are alive just like the birds and the sun and the trees. We have no control. You didn't even get to choose your family or your name or the way you look. You got placed here, and the only job is to live out that, and you're here for a reason. So take a deep breath with me right now. And out. And just remember that all you're here to do is to breathe and be alive. And once you've decided that that's what you deserve, that you just deserve to be here, everything falls into place somehow. I know sometimes it's like, manifest everything and think of all the Lamborghinis, and I don't know, I think post-COVID we've almost become so desensitized, literally now we have the first trillionaires, Elon Musk, and I don't know, how money's so digital that it doesn't even feel like it's something real anymore.
It's
Energy
it's not exchange.
exactly. So to anybody that is feeling down or feeling lost in life, just know that there are so many more days to come. And brighter days, and all you have to do is simply exist sometimes. I
like
think
that.
the pressure of having to do any more than that is a bit much nowadays. It's like, do your best, babe. That's all.
Okay. How do you create a song?
Well, I recently started producing the past year, which has been so much fun. I'm an Ableton girl, but I mainly start writing from scratch. I hate writing at home or like in other places, but I do love to write when I'm like on a plane or in the car. Sometimes melodies come to me when I'm like in the mall, especially for some reason. I don't know why. But I usually go into studio and start production from scratch and start writing from scratch. And I feel like in the moment, the energies feel like out of my control, which I love. I love to lose control in the creative moment. So that's how, most of the time how I write songs. It's kind of just like, yeah, I'm in this mood, I'm in this feeling, I'm in this vibe, and I had this idea or this melody playing in my head, and literally start from scratch. And I love to co-produce and get my hands dirty. And I always write from a place very also through. Sometimes I write about other people's stories that they told me, or from another perspective. But yeah, I'm a songwriter. I've written every single song I've ever recorded, every single song that's out there. Anything Money Badoo is my literal brain creating songs. um, yeah, that's my best way, honestly. Starting from scratch. I don't want to know, hooks before. Don't no. Let's just have the energy all from blank space. And I feel like, yeah, you have way more room to just create with the people around you, especially if it's like you and a few producers or one producer, because you're feeding off of each other's energy.
I liked what you said, letting go of the control in your creative space or losing control. In my definition of the word control is structured. There's that box. And creativity can never be in the box.
Never.
It has to be out there. Now, diving into this world professionally, now that you're doing it, producing creative fashion and, are there any aspects about it that surprised you, that you did not realize would be part of the process, but actually is?
I guess not surprising, but something I've learned is that the industry changes way faster than you could ever imagine, especially in a time that everything is so digital and social media and the way we retain information, the way we feel, the fact that there's like, I don't even know what the real stats is, but like plus 100K songs going out every day.
Yeah.
The version of me that started making music was way slower in a time that things were slower, Instagram was still cool. Being a musician is still cool. Now we have AI, and the world has changed so much in the short period of time that I've been a musician. I can't imagine spending a decade doing music and how many times you have to adapt. So I think the one thing that has surprised me is how fast as a creative you have to adapt to the world, whereas I think when you work in other spectrums, I could be wrong, but I think in any job that you do, you have to adapt to the times, right?
Yeah.
But I think as a musician, it moves like at the speed of light. Like what you thought in industry was 6 months ago, you're competing against different people, different musicians. Those ones maybe fell off. It's not the same music that's in anymore. And now you're also like dealing with technology as a whole.
Non-real performers.
Yes, non-real performers, technology, and in every workspace we're dealing with AI and technology almost surpassing what we're even ready to handle as a society. And so that's the one thing that surprised me. I didn't realize how fast I had to change to adapt to the times as a musician. And it really is adapt or be left behind,
But I also think that it's about, yes, adapting, but keeping who you are, your authenticity, your brand, because let's say it like it is. if you're an artist, you're a brand.
100%, yeah.
So it's about keeping that strategy. Because I get a sense, so some of the artists in the world are so busy trying to adapt, they're forgetting their core authenticity, their creativity, because it needs to be 5 seconds for TikTok. There's that, all that nonsense.
100%. And you seem so insane when you like reject this way. You seem as if you don't believe in your craft enough, you're not passionate enough, even if intuitively you just don't feel aligned with a certain way of doing things that is like almost in our industry the only way currently of doing things. But I think as a creative you have an intuitiveness about the future, about what's happening. You see it from such a different angle that you can almost predict what will be cool to the way you feel, I also think that being seen is to be cringe, right? But then I also have this battle with myself that when I feel cringe about something I know intuitively and I go against myself, it's a different kind of cringe than to just be, and this is it, whether you guys like it or not.
Yeah.
Right? Because I have that exact problem. I think a lot of creatives feel that way currently at the state of the world. It's like there's a war going on. There's just so many things around us to not want to be like, oh my word, it's so great to be a creative. But then there's also how lucky you get to be a creative, right? So I get that. And when I say adapt, I guess I mean being conscious of the fact that the world is changing as a whole.
Yes.
And what is your contribution to the world as a creative, rather than adapting to what will make you blow up, what will make you go viral. Because I don't believe in that, You could be viral right now making a song about cows or anything, like that's how, how open and free the internet is not now. Nobody really cares. It's not like, I guess we all watched the Michael Jackson movie and saw like a different kind of realm of the industry. Back then it was, if you had labeled and you could easily, not everybody had access to this kind of like viral to the world and the world seeing you. But now everybody has access. You could post your kid and your kid could go viral and be like known for like all around the world right now in an hour. And that kind of like fastness is what I mean by having to adapt.
Yes.
Because if you're not conscious of what's happening, I don't know if you can contribute really.
I agree with you, but then it's also a situation of people then not chasing that virality, as you already mentioned, and continuing to release from a place of heart, light, and intention. Because I get a sense a lot of people are like, oh, they got 2 million. Why is this on? No, and I've gotten caught in that. Like, oh, this one blew up. And now TikTok's changed algorithms and I'm not getting this amount. I'm like, you know what? I'm doing the same thing. I've got the intention. I've got the content. I've got my character, which is quirky and wacky. And so I'm not going to change because it was working before. I don't care what the algorithms do now.
Exactly.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Now.
That's powerful though, to be able to
well, it's
be
taking
strong.
Me a while.
I mean, I think all of us as creatives, we kind of look to each other for that like green light of like, you can still be authentic, you can be slow, you can just be consistent with whatever it is. It's like, just be consistent, don't ever stop.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. What can you tell us is coming up over the next period of time?
I just released an EP called Foreplay, and it's 9 songs of me just honestly not overthinking it for once. The EP I made with my band in the studio, and I moved from just myself and my DJ, but myself with a live band. And I've been with a band for many, many years. But I actually realized last year that I never took the time to sit in the studio with live instruments and just be free and like not be like, oh, this is going to be for the trappers. This is going to be like, I was just honestly making from what I felt like. Even it was like, what, girl, this is like really sunflowery, or like never heard you like this. I was giving myself permission to be crazy and quirky and do what's weird musically, even if it sucks to everybody. And that was so freeing. And this EP feels like a stepping stone into myself, which I really love, because the more I learned the skill of music, because I feel like I started backwards. Because I started just like first forward the brand, influencing, songwriting on beats that were ready, you know, like had my producers, didn't care about production, didn't care about the finer details. And now I care so much. And I understand what it means to even make a beat. Some of mine are terrible, but I understand what it takes to like start something from the like real scratch, that it means more to me. So this EP is really that, and it's my first time traveling too. So I made the EP between South Africa and Berlin. And that was my first time ever being in Germany. Last year I went for Reeperbahn Festival. I performed. And I've been back already this year. I've been to the UK now. Even though last year it was like the first time, and my first time internationally. You hear it on the EP. There's a German feature, Rutger. And we were both on the lineup for a Reeperbahn Festival, and that's how we met. So it's honestly just a time capsule of my real life at a time. And that's what I'm pushing currently, and I hope people love it. I talk about forgiveness, like the last song is about forgiving my parents, because you go older and then you start realizing, oh, they were just human beings just the way I am, and we all don't know actually much. We all just got put on this earth. So yeah, and next I'm just giving myself time to create again. I don't know where, I don't know what. I just know that I'm growing so much and I'm refining my skill, and I think that's the most exciting. So onto another project already. Just dropped it onto another project as an artist. But other than that, also focusing on building a fashion label. Socioeconomic issues that I get to tell stories through my photography. Figuring out more ways of giving back to the community, and which I do, I think, mainly through events. I work for an event called Underground, which focuses on artist development, where we have open mic and beat battles. I'm just part of the team. Shout out to my friend Benjamin. And I have my own event called, I can't know if I can say it on here, but Bitches Love Margies. And it's a margarita event, and I'm a bitch who loves margies. And it's just about female curations, always female DJs mainly, and a space that we can just enjoy tequila and margaritas. But also, if you know, when you're putting that outfit on and you come into a space where you can have the greatest night ever with the girlies. So I feel like, yeah, what's next is refining all of those aspects about myself, growing even deeper, finding way more ways to capitalize off of them. But besides just making money, I know that my true passion and the real thing I'm meant to be doing is helping other people. So finding ways to help my community as much as I can is the one thing that makes me more excited than everything else. So find ways for my creativity to do that on a larger scale is currently where my mind's at.
So extending the tentacles on all the octopi.
Yo, extender, like extension cords, but the one that's like plugged into the other extension cord. There's like a really long cord going around the house.
What do you enjoy about performing live?
I enjoy losing control once again. I mean, you have a sense of control. You know your set. You know, you've rehearsed it. You know exactly what. But there is a sense of me that goes away in my mind. You know, my mind's quite quiet and silent. And that's what I love the most about being a creative overall and a musician. Music allows me to not be in the back of my mind and but present. And I love performing, and I also love naturally being able to connect with people and seeing them enjoy and participate even in 30 minutes of my time in my music, in my world. So that's what I love the most, is interacting with people, but also, like I said, losing control of the mind. Yeah, anything that brings me back to the present moment, I'm like, hell yeah. That's what I want to be doing for the rest of my life.
Okay, so I'm a dude that's right up in front. I'm jamming, I'm dancing. I'll take my phone out for a couple of songs, couple of videos, photos, and I put it away. I notice these days A lot of people are busy on the phone, and you reference that connection and that exchange. Do you not find from the person on the stage observing potentially a bunch of people busy with their phones, it takes away from that moment, or it's just where society is at this stage?
Yeah, I think that it was funny because when I watched the Michael Jackson movie, I was like, oh, because it was like in 1970 and 1980 at the
80s,
time
yeah,
that
yeah.
I was not even alive. So it was interesting to look back and be like, oh, people signed autographs so they could like have, or like I was with Michael because this thing has his autograph
Yeah.
on. And nowadays it's no one a picture with you.
Selfie,
Nobody
yeah.
asks for an autograph really. So I think that the phone thing is almost so like we've already become so attached to our memories and our lives being inside of this thing. So I almost don't fault people for wanting to have videos and to like take every moment, because it feels like we've already been conditioned to believing that the memories of our lives don't just exist in our brains anymore. But like if I don't have a video of it, it never happened.
Yeah.
And it's sad how much technology has taken over our lives in that way, which I think was their plan to begin with. But I almost like I said, I adapted. So I don't mind, but I do hope that we get back to a place where music is like, I came here to de-stress. I came here to enjoy it. I came here to not think about my stresses. I came here to be completely engulfed in this moment, in this time. And that's what going to concerts was about initially. Going to go enjoy. It was just to let go and be free. And now you kind of don't even have that because you're connecting to an audience. But then again, also, it's like a double-edged sword. Because if someone's live and I didn't get to watch a concert, I'm so grateful that they have their phone. Because I'm like, yes, I get to see it, even if I don't get to be there. So, yeah, it is such a double-edged sword. But I kind of like, I don't mind it. I'm also like, damn, at least that's some extra content that I can post later on. Yeah, I really don't mind it.
I love this next game. I know if I had to ask you this question now, in 2 minutes' time, in 20 minutes' time, or even tomorrow, I understand your answer will be different every time.
Okay.
It's very important to understand I'm not saying favorite.
Okay.
Not saying favorite.
Alright.
I'm saying top of mind. Once we finish, you get in your car, you drive home, driving to wherever, 5 other artists that you want to listen to. Just top of mind. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Who would those artists be?
Right now?
Yeah.
Don Toliver, SZA, Shekinah. Oh, love me some Shekinah. Myself.
Okay, there we go.
And recently Drake.
Okay.
I mean, we're all in that phase, but I've been going back. Like, Nothing Was the Same is the album that I'm currently listening to. And then I guess CC Winans. Yeah. Anything that gets me back to the Lord, I'm like, please put that on.
Cool. And I know if I literally had to ask you this question again now, you'd have another 5. So it can never ever be favorites. There's too many for favorites.
Oh, you're right. I love that.
Yes.
I didn't realize, and now I get it. There's never a favorite.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just like the time of your life,
Yeah.
But that's the beauty around like the art of music, is that it's like a cushion, when I'm feeling sad, I know what phase of my life I'm in, and that's the reason I'm listening to these 5 artists. And I know that maybe in a few months it will change.
Exactly.
Even next week it will change. I'll be
Even
in a different vibe.
5 hours it will
Literally.
change.
I love that.
So Money, the podcast is listened to throughout the world. As a final message, what would you like to say?
Hey, my name is Money Badoo. Please say the bad. And I am a normal human being, just like every one of you guys, going after what I really love to do. And if anything that I said today, or even just my vibe, attracted you, I implore you to go to YouTube or Spotify or Apple Music and go listen to my music. South Africa is so filled with amazing stories and people and art, and I'm so grateful to be one of them. And if you're a girl listening right now, I hope you know that anything that you put your mind to, you can do. And you can do it 10 times better than a man can. So go ahead, shawty. No, I mean, yes, but I also, I just want to say thank you to anybody who's ever followed me, streamed my music. And if you just found me out right now, then I'm so happy for you. Welcome. And thank you for having me on this podcast. You are such a vibe. And I can't wait to be back. And I feel like I was talking to my friend, just getting to the deep thing.
Well, that's the point. So, guys, as Money says, be a Badoo in your world.
Period.
Be a Badoo in your world and go out and accomplish everything. This is Celeb Savant signing out.
Another production from Solid Gold Podcasts.